Okay, we're recording now. So anybody watching the recording just missed a part, but I'll do a message afterwards saying what I talked about. So when you're actually asking somebody, keep it simple. It doesn't have to be super complicated. Basically what I do when I get up in the morning, Leanne and I start talking, and I find 5 people online that I haven't asked before, and I just say, hey, would you do me a favor? And wait, that's 1 tennis ball going at them. I wait till they hit it back. Or, hey, I'm wondering if you would be willing to do something for me. Or if it's somebody I haven't talked to in a long time, add that in there. If you're feeling kind of weird about that, be like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while, but I'm wondering if you do me a little favor. Or if it's somebody that you never talked to and it's random, hey, I know this is random, but I'm wondering if you'd be up for doing me a favor. Because you're going to ask them to do something. It is a favor that they're doing you. And, you know, if it's somebody who used to be in your family and get a divorce, like, hey, no, we're not related anymore, but I was still hoping you'd do me a favor. So whatever it is, how you know them, or if it's somebody that you saw yesterday and you didn't ask them, like, hey, I know I saw you yesterday, but I'm wondering if you'd do me a favor. Bring it up, especially if it's something you feel a little bit uncomfortable about. If you do feel like it's random, put it out there, because if you feel weird, they're going to sense that. And if you pretend like you don't think it's weird, it's going to be an odd vibe between you guys. So put it right up there at the first, and then wait. And I'm going to go through a couple different scenarios, but this scenario, we're going to pretend that they write back and say yes. And usually, just from my personality, when I talk to people, if somebody automatically says yes, I'm like, really? Because maybe I want you to help me move a body. Or I'm like, really? Because I could be asking you to do anything. Or sometimes they'll say, I'm not sure what is it. And I'll be like, good move, because I could be asking you to help me move a body. So whatever they say, reply to it. And then the message I send out, I'm actually going to read it for you word for word. It is kind of a copy and paste one, but it's short and simple and to the point. Just a sec, let me find it. So when they say yes, I write back, looking for a couple fresh faces to try out the new RE9 Healthy Aging line. No expectation tied to it. Just want to borrow your face for some feedback. I'm just going to go in and mute everyone again. Getting crazy up in here. Manage participants. Mute all. Okay. So you guys all still hear me? Okay. So that's all I ask. So I'm letting them know that it's a new RE9 line, because if it's somebody that already had tried the other RE9 line, I want them to know this is different. And the new language you're going to be using around the RE9 line is healthy aging instead of anti-aging. So I throw that in there. And then there's no expectations. If they don't want to buy it or join my business, that's fine. But that I do want them to try it for at least 3 days, and I do want feedback from them. So I'm setting that all up in the first. Because when you ask it properly, it's easier to actually do the follow-up if they know that you're going to be getting feedback. So set it up right from the start. And we're going to try in the scenario too that they say, yes, they will do it. And I'm always like, hey, that's great. Thank you so much. If it's for sample, I say, can you send me your address? And if it's for basket, I kind of look at my basket schedule and see when I can fit them in and make sure that works for them. So I always say at the basket, like, hey, I could bring it over Monday. Would you have time that I could drop it off on Monday and explain it? And then when I'm dropping it off, I'm like, hey, I'm going to come pick it up on Thursday. Will you have 10 minutes somewhere in your day where I can come pick it up and I can ask you some follow-up questions? And that way, when you go to ask follow-up questions, it's not weird, because you've already asked them, and then you told them again you were going to ask follow-up questions. And then after they say yes, or send me their address, or we get it booked, that's when I'm like, oh my gosh, how's that new baby? Or how's your new house? Or are you camping this summer? Or right now, when I'm like kind of running on empty for ideas because I have talked to 85 people, March break is coming, thank goodness. Hey, do you guys have the same March break as us? Are you guys going anywhere? Where are you going? And then you have a normal conversation with them afterwards. So you're not just like, sweet, got what I wanted later, and don't talk to them. Keep that rapport up and have a relationship with them. So now I want to go through an example where they say they'll do you a favor until they hear what it is. So again, hey, I'm wondering if you would do me a favor. They're like, sure. So tennis ball, and then you write back, I'm wondering if I could borrow your face. And then they're like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. Or, oh, I have a line I'm really happy with, or that's not my wheelhouse, or I tried it and I'm not interested, whatever it is that they say no to. I would just thank them. Like, thank you for getting back to me. I really appreciate you letting me know that you don't want to try it. Then wait till they say something, and then I go back into, hey, what are you doing for March break? So again, I have the same exact conversation with somebody who has a no. That's a yes. Because you still want to build that relationship, because you don't know really why they're saying no. And just because they don't like it doesn't mean if you don't keep up the relationship, somebody else you know might not be interested in. So I always just have that same conversation with them that I would have as if somebody said a yes. Now, the third scenario is when you ask, hey, would you want to do me a favor? Hey, would you do me a little favor? And they're like, no. That's okay, because you're asking for a favor. Not everybody wants to do one. So I would just say, oh, thank you so much for like letting me know you're not up for it right now. What are you doing for March break? Are you guys going away? How's your husband? How's your kid? And again, have that same conversation with them. That's how you build a relationship, is when you don't get all weird when they say no and disappear, and you keep talking to them. They start to build like that trust or that likability, because people buy things from people they know, like, or trust. So if you don't really know them that well, you're getting to know them. Hopefully you're super charming and they're starting to like you, and then they're seeing that you're not a weirdo and they're going to start trusting you. Now, the last option is that at some point in time you get ignored. Hey, will you do me a favor? They see it and they don't write back. Or, hey, will you do me a favor? Yes, you send your favor, and then they see it but they don't write back. What do you do then? Because we all know what happens. So what I've been doing is I wait about 48 hours, because maybe they're at work or they forgot, like, you never know, or maybe they just want to avoid you after you've asked it. Like, you have no idea why they haven't written back. So I wait 48 hours and I'm like, hey, chick, just want to let you know, it's okay if you want to say no. That's all I write. And then they either write back like, oh, I was afraid and whatever. And then I usually say, like, you're still going to be my favorite Charlotte ever, even though you said no. And then, how's your March break? What are you doing? And more often than not, I did this 5 times last week. All 5 people had seen my message when they were in the car and shouldn't have been looking at their phone, or at work, or someplace where they couldn't write back, meant to write me back later, and then forgot. So often when we see that somebody saw our message and they don't write back, we tell ourselves a story that doesn't serve us, like, oh, they don't want to do it and they think we're a weirdo, and then you avoid them. And that's normally not the case. Because I do it all the time. I see somebody's message and I mean to write back, and I don't. So keep that in mind, that you can go back to them and be like, hey, just so you know, it's okay if you don't want to. Because you just would need to know that ambiguity, you know what I'm trying to say, drives me crazy. I'd rather have a yes or no instead of wondering what is it. And that's what I will go back and double check and make sure I've had a yes or no answer from everyone. And that's all I've been doing. So, but I'm not thinking about it either. It's like once in a while I'll see somebody's name, like, oh, I can't ask them. That's prejudging. Or I'm like, oh, they wouldn't like skincare. Or, oh, they probably use something else. Or, oh, somebody else asked them. Whatever story you're telling yourself in your head, you don't know. It doesn't hurt just to ask that question. I haven't had anybody get mad at me yet for asking. I haven't had anyone who stopped talking to me because I asked. I've had a lot of people really excited about trying or thanking me for asking them. And it literally takes 2 minutes to just pick 5 names. Hey, would you do me a favor? And then once you've started it, you've done your 5 asks, right? Because they're going to answer, you're going to follow up. And that's what I've been doing every day, Monday through Friday, this whole month. And that's how I've asked 85 people to try the product. And so far, I only have 2 people that have still kind of ignored me. I haven't gotten a hold of them out of 85. So like going back and asking them has been really, really useful. So don't be afraid to do that in your ask. And like I said before, the proper ask makes for a good, easy follow-up once you've put it out there what you want and what you're looking for. And then what I'm going to be doing is everyone that I've asked this month, whether they said yes or no, I'm going back to them, and I have a client care page. It's not like my official Arbonne page. So whether you have an official Facebook Arbonne page or if you have a client care page, I'm going to go back and say, hey, I know you tried that sample for me. I really appreciated it. Do you want to be added to my Facebook page so you can see what's kind of going on with Arbonne? Or if they said no, like, hey, I know you weren't interested in trying that or you weren't interested in purchasing, but would you be interested on being on this page? Again, it's keeping that relationship up. So I'm still in contact with all those same people that I talked to all month. It's not like they said yes or no, now I'm ignoring them. I'm going back to them and I'm talking to them. And then what I'm going to do in a couple more weeks is I'm going to go back and say, hey, I know you love the RE9 line. Do you think somebody in your family or somebody from your gym or somebody from your work would be interested in doing the same thing for me? Because when you haven't been pressuring or weird, people are way more likely to give you referrals. And what I'm going to be doing, my plan is if they say, oh, there's 3 girls at work that I know would love it, that's when I'm going to say, well, why don't you host? Instead of me going to all 3 of them and taking the basket and having my basket out for 9 days, they could just come to your house and we could have some tea or wine or whatever, and they could just try it there. So that's where right now doing a good job with my asks and my follow-up and my relationship building is going to make that much easier down the road. And that's like the long game that I'm playing. Because really in this business, I feel like a yes and a no are the same thing. Sometimes people say yes and buy once, or they never buy again, or they're a good client, or sometimes people say no right away, but then later become a great client. So to me, I'm not necessarily looking for them to say yes or no. I just want a yes or no so I can continue to build that relationship with them. Because even if it's not them who fall in love with the product, the opportunity, if you guys have a good relationship, you're more likely to meet more people that they know. And I hope that kind of makes sense. And its consistency builds momentum. So right now, my asks have not been immediately paying off. It's not like I have 80 new preferred clients. But I have my basket booked the whole way through March. I have samples I'm sending out tomorrow that people won't get into March. And follow-ups, because samples take a long time because they have to get there, they have to use them, and then you have to follow up. But it's creating a lot of momentum in my business. It's getting my name out there a lot. And it's, again, that long game. You have to be looking at this long term and be okay with maybe not making 20,000 QB this month off your effort, but know that it's coming if you keep up the consistency. And I keep thinking, like, if you want to have what other people don't have, you have to be willing to do what they don't want to do. There's a lot of people who would not consistently do 5 asks a day. I know now towards the end of the month, I find I'm getting more excuses in my head, and I'm thinking of more reasons why I can't, or the more people that I'm asking are people that I'm less comfortable asking. That's why I've waited to the end of the month to ask them. But other people who were not MVPs didn't go ahead and ask. And because I'm working on becoming an MVP, I'm going to ask. I'm not going to stop. Excuse me. So that's my strategy for asks. I'm just going to go over a couple of my other strategies quick and then open it up for questions. Because I found for a while, I really wanted to do good in Arbonne. And I spent a lot of time on Instagram and Facebook, LinkedIn, scrolling and looking and trying to do Arbonne, but I didn't know how to do Arbonne. And then I would do it all day because I felt like I wasn't doing anything. So what these strategies have done for me is once I've done my strategies for the day, I don't need to go back on. Like if somebody says, yeah, I'll try sample, and I say, what's your address? And I don't log on again until the next day to like finish that conversation, that's fine. I don't have to immediately be on there. So what I've done for my strategy is the first thing I do, because no matter how big your team is, the most important thing you can do is take care of your own personal business. So before I do anything else, I get my 5 asks in, my 5 personal asks, because then I know that I've moved my business forward that day. And then I have an Instagram strategy that I do where I go on and I comment because I'm looking to get more followers right now so that they see what I'm putting on there. And then I have a LinkedIn strategy where I comment on 3 things and I post 1 thing and then I'm done that for the day. So each one takes a certain amount of time, but now I have so much more time because what I'm doing is actually productive. I know what I'm looking to do. I have my strategy. I get it done, and then I don't have to go on that social media outlet again. Like obviously I'll check Facebook again, or if I see I have a ton of Instagram followers after doing my strategy, yeah, I'll go on and look, but I don't have to. It's not like I'm sitting there all day wondering what should I be doing or how can I grow my Arbonne business. I found the strategies that work for me that are a little bit outside of my comfort zone. Like 3 asks a day, comfortable with. 5 asks a day, I'm not comfortable with. So I'm doing the one I'm not comfortable with because I know it's going to put me where I want to go. And then once I'm done those, I'm done. And I'm being really productive and I'm getting a lot more done. And I have a lot more time, energy, and brain power because I'm not just scrolling through Facebook all day thinking about what I should be doing or wondering how to get there. So highly recommend, if you don't have strategies based around your asks or what you're doing on social media, like I don't know if you're on Pinterest or Twitter or whatever, but figure out what it is you can do each day that will actually move your business forward. Do that and then be done. so that you do have that work-life balance and you're not addicted to looking at your phone all the time. So that's kind of what I want to cover on Ask. And basically you can apply it to anything. Like if you want somebody to look at the clean eating program, it'd be the same thing, like, hey, like, got a favor, blah, blah, blah. Would you be willing to take a look at this video and give me feedback? Same as looking at the business. And you guys, anybody can unmute if you want to. Does anybody have any questions? Do you want to put any questions in the chat or ask any questions? Anyone brave? Anybody want to know anything or clarification on anything I talked about? Oh, from Margaret. Okay, good question, Margaret. So Margaret asked, if anyone's not on the chat, when you mention baskets, do you mean the RE9 gold bag? And how many do you have to send out? So I do mean gold bag. And I say basket out of an old habit, because what we used to do when I actually first started 6 years ago is basically put one of everything Arbonne owned in a basket and lend it out to people. So that language is stuck with me, but I have just been focusing on gold bags this month. So that's what I meant. And right now I currently have 3 gold bags out. So I have 3 that I'm picking up tomorrow, and then 3 that I have 3 people lined up that I'm taking them to tomorrow. And how I do is I try to make sure they have it for 3 nights. So they get it tomorrow. I want them to use the night cream basically Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. So I'll pick it up Thursday morning, all 3 of them, and then line up people Thursday morning to take it to. Oh, you're welcome, Christine. I hope you're feeling better. I feel so bad that you're sick. So that was a great question, Margaret. Does anybody else have any questions? I actually had 2 gold bags, but way more people than I expected were saying yes. And I had them booked through the end of March and starting to book in April. And this was in the second week of February. So I actually bought a new RE9 line and bag, and got that 3rd one in rotation on Monday of last week. We always call those Arbonne problems. It's good when you need another RE9 line. So Lynn, my LinkedIn strategy that I have is that I go, because I used to try to post stuff and try to be interesting, and it wasn't really getting me anywhere. So I scroll through and find 3 articles or 3 posts that somebody put down that other people are commenting on that I feel like I can add something to, or I feel like I agree with, or I'm excited about, or it makes me think things, and I add that. And what's been happening is that other people who feel the same way I do are seeing my posts, and then they're inviting me to connect with them. And so every day I do this one every day of the week, 7 days a week. I find 3 things that I can post on. And I haven't even added any connections. They've all been adding me, and it's really helping my LinkedIn connections expand. And Lynn, if you want, look me up on LinkedIn and add me, and you can see, I think it's pretty easy what I'm doing, because it's very consistent, the same thing every day. Thanks, Lynn. Any other questions from anybody about asks or strategies? It is really like I'm so much more productive, and I have so much more time now that I have these strategies. There's not that like mindless scrolling all the time. Maybe nobody else does that, but I used to do that a lot. All right, well, I'll stop the recording. And Instagram strategy. So what I'm going to do is actually, when I post this recording, Julie, I'll put the Instagram strategy on there. It's not anything that I came up with. Gary Vee, I don't know if you guys follow him on Facebook or Instagram or not, but he's wild and loud and crazy and awesome. And it's his Instagram strategy that he shared and recommended people do. And that's what I do. You're welcome, Julie. Margaret, this month, just because I was doing this as like an experiment, the 5 Asks a Day, I haven't been asking for shows, but normally I do have shows in my business. I was just kind of taking this month to experiment. Can I do 5 Asks a Day? What's going to happen? What does it look like? But moving forward from the people that I've been building relationships with, my asks will include hosting. And normally I do, I like to do one that's like skincare at night, where they use the pore sucking mask. I love the Rescue and Renew mask. And then I also do the core presentation. Like that's my go-to, is the core presentation. I find it really easy and quick to do. Those are great questions. So if anybody else has any other questions, you can post it anywhere where you saw this call was happening, or you can message me directly, and I will be posting the link to this call, and I'll also put in the link to the Gary Vee Instagram strategy. So thank you so much for coming on. I hope that was helpful, and get your asking gear. Bye.